Imagine you're on a modern-day safari in Africa. Legends say that it's the birthplace of humanity itself. A place of dream where mankind can still enjoy the wild nature of an ecosystem filled with exciting creatures. From lions to elephants, there is a horde of wild hyenas as well. There was so much potential. Back home, the only hyenas we had to watch out for were the tax collectors. They always knew the right time to come knocking at your door. And in that thriving wildlife was the Maasai tribe. Peaceful but gentle people who lived off the land. The warriors held a spear on one hand and a small shield on the other. Though I believe they prefer not to have a shield at all, however, Africa would soon become a dream trip turned into a heart-pounding nightmare. I found myself in an open vehicle with lots of tourists. We were led by our guide, Mobutu Sese. He has known these lands since he was just a teenager. The view on the savannah stretched out for miles. It cast a picture of serene beauty that slowly unraveled its beauty. This quiet and peaceful serenity shattered in an instant, especially when you spot a lion. Blessed with such a muscular frame tensed and eyes locked onto yours. At first, it's a surreal moment because the majesty of the lion is undeniable. But as it crouches, it prepares to charge at us. My heart hammered against my ribs. I left each beat with a loud drum in my ears. Even adrenaline can still flood the system, like a primal response to imminent danger. That's when it all happened. My mouth went dry and my palms started to sweat like never before. I could even feel a cold chill run down my spine. The lion's eyes were not just seeing me or the others. They were targeting someone, and I felt like prey, helpless and exposed. My brain screamed for action, but my body was frozen. I learned it was a common reaction most people felt during an intense fear situation. This paralysis in my body was the only way it could protect itself, making me less noticeable to a predator. But in this moment, with the lion's gaze fixed on me, I felt anything but invisible. Time seemed to slow down for a bit, with each passing second stretching out endlessly as the lion prepared to leap. That instant, I became acutely aware of every detail. Even the most subtle twitch of the lion's muscles, the subtle shift of its paws on the dry grass, and the almost imperceptible swish of its tail. It's a silent, deadly dance, and I am at its mercy. The fear, however, remains overwhelming, mixing dread with awe. The tourists were on their guards. They had received instructions on what to do in a situation like this. Meanwhile, Mobutu Sese held a tranquilizer in one hand and a radio in the other. He cautiously kept his gaze on the lion. I knew that a lion could sprint at speeds of up to 50 miles per hour. I knew that its claws were sharp enough to tear through flesh and that its jaws had a crushing force. These facts, once read in books or seen in documentaries, now play a terrifying reality in front of your eyes. This lion was one of the biggest I have ever seen. It's one thing to see them on TV, but it's another to stand in front of them. They were the pinnacle of evolution, untouched by humanity and free to grow on their own however they saw fit. My mind raced as the influx of thoughts disoriented my steps. I wanted to run, to hide, but I was acutely aware that neither was an option. I found myself in the lion's domain, and it commanded the landscape with such bravery. The guides had briefed me on staying calm and not making sudden movements, but every instinct in my body urged me to flee. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the tension broke. The lion was perhaps distracted or uninterested. Who knows? Somehow, it turned away, watching as its powerful body moved with a grace that belied its lethal power. I was left shaking as every nerve in my body was alight with the aftermath of terror. Although I was safe and sound, the encounter left an indelible mark on my psyche. This brush with one of nature's most formidable predators was a stark reminder of the raw power and unpredictability of the wild. I will always cherish this adventure. This culminated in the reality that existed alongside our modern lives, but is seldom experienced with such intensity. The fear I felt on that day remains a potent mix of respect and primal terror. Indeed, this was a testament to the lion's place as a symbol of the wild's untamed heart. We were all safe by then. All of us had returned home. Thanks in part to Mobuto Sese, who kept us safe. If you came looking for adventure, then this was just it. Thank you, Africa.